Hello, how are you all? Thank you for watching drama. So, over the week, I actually did a video about this like 2 back, so check for the original source material. Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens. So this video went viral. Why am I interested? Because I'm a girl and I like gossip. That's why I'm interested. Leave me alone. This video of Ben Shapiro went viral over the weekend, and he was at what appears to be some kind of private, like, small gathering. I don't know if it was like a wedding or a dinner party. Who knows? I have no idea. But somebody asked him a question, and the question was, how do you feel about Candace Owens and her recent comments about the conflict over in the Middle East with Israel? And his response was rather surprising to a lot of people. I think, what did he call her? Like disgraceful or something? And said that she was speaking with faux sophistication. That's all it was. It was pretty insulting if you're at the other end of that. And immediately I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she must have said something horrible. Like, what has she been saying? I haven't been watching Candace or a lot of Ben Shapiro recently. So I couldn't really find anything. I shared one clip that was going around that maybe he was referring to. Now, clearly they don't agree on a lot of things about the conflict. And also, I think it's fair to say, of course, Ben Shapiro is going to be a little bit more emotional about the whole thing. Obviously, he's Jewish. He's very close to his Jewish heritage. He was just in Israel, I believe, like within a matter of weeks before October 7th. So clearly this is a lot more emotional and personal for him. But what was shocking is he threw some insults, but never exactly said what he was referring to and why. And I've been critical of Candace, just like anyone else. I'm critical of anyone. But anytime I did have a criticism, I can say exactly what I disagreed with and why I was critical of it. And typically that's what he does. And he didn't. So anyway, Candace was on Tucker Carlson's show last night. I watched it, and he asked her point blank about it. And her response, I thought she actually brought up some really good points. And I think I'm pretty team Candace over here on this one. And her response was, I'm allowed to ask questions. That's not, she goes, I didn't say anything definitive or wrong. I'm simply asking a few questions, and that's it. And to question, isn't that what we're for? And one thing that I think, the Daily Wire has prided itself on is having diversity of thought amongst their hosts. Of course, it's a right-leaning news organization, but they also still have a lot of diversity of thought and disagreements within their hosts, and they've always prided themselves on that, and they've always been able to maintain those disagreements and have a pretty decent, work relationship and remain respectful. So this was rather shocking, but I wanted to bring up what Candace said. So first of all, Candace said, I was shocked just like anyone else. I haven't talked to Ben Shapiro since. I didn't think anything I said was that bad. Of course, we disagree all the time. And she goes, I was also disappointed that he couldn't bring up exactly what I said. He just was throwing insults, which I believe is wrong. And I agree with her with that. And one of the points that she brought up, which again, I'm kind of on the fence about this one. Like, I don't know a whole lot about the conflict over there. And I know that it's pretty layered and complicated. Clearly, I'm going to naturally side with Israel. I think that most of you watching would as well. But she said, one of the things that she brought up, which she wasn't happy about, was the fact that she just questioned, I find it interesting now that a lot of these donors for these large universities are now writing letters, taking their donations away and saying that they're closing the checkbooks, when this has been happening on college campuses for a long time. What about all the anti-white stuff and all of that? And I think that was a really good point, because this has been happening for a long time. Now the narrative has changed a little bit after Israel, and I get that this is a completely different situation, and obviously it's a pretty horrifying situation, but this has been brooding on college campuses for so long. Where were these donors 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, last year, the year before, when things were getting really, really bad on college campuses with all of this indoctrination, with all the woke crap? Where were they then? Maybe if they would have closed the purse a long time ago, some of this could have been diverted. I don't know, but I think that is a very valid question. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed in Ben Shapiro, because that's one of the things that turned me off from the left, is not being able to question, not being able to have an open dialogue, a nuanced dialogue, and merely to question. I thought that's what we do. And I thought that's what Ben Shapiro stood for. Well, I think we might have found what his Achilles heel is a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if he apologizes. She also brought up sort of the culture at the Daily Wire, because people, even myself, I was like, is she going to get fired? Is she leaving her job? And she went on to say that, you know, Ben Shapiro's in Florida. He films out of Florida, so she doesn't really see him a whole lot. And he doesn't run everything at the Daily Wire. But I don't know. I thought that was pretty wild and pretty interesting. And I'm a little bit disappointed in Ben Shapiro and how he handled that. I think criticism is fair, disagreement is fair, but isn't that what we don't like about the left? We want an environment where we can disagree and respectfully disagree. And I feel like myself, I would have learned a lot more from the whole situation if he would have explained what exactly she said and why it's wrong. Just going and calling everyone a name for simply questioning, doesn't that sound familiar? So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing. We'll stay tuned to the drama. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.